Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back. I don't know if something was going on with that video. I think it was like freezing, at least on my end it was like all choppy and everything, but welcome to another Tuesday Night Live. Thank you all so much for joining. This is, like as always, just remember listener supported. So you guys ask the questions, you take this show where you want it to go. So before we get going, I'm going to roll the intro video, and allow a few more people to join. Drop in the comments where you're watching from and what you're up to right now. Like, what are you doing? Do you have any late fall or winter races that you're training for? Or have you just packed it in and you're looking at 2020 right now? So with that said, let's go. All right, and I feel like, so I've been streaming to YouTube and Twitch and Twitter for the last couple weeks, and I feel like some of the comments might be a little bit delayed. I don't know. So get them going. Let's roll the comments in here. We got Drew H here. Happy Tuesday, everyone from Chicago. What's up? Stephen McNeil, Midland, Texas in the house. How's it going? Let's see what else we got here. Nicholas Karen here. Hey there from Montreal. Winter is definitely coming here, so racing season is over. Yeah. Knee deep in my 2022 plans already. It's awesome. David Jobs, what's up from Northern Virginia? How's it going? Zach Fairchild's here from Michigan as well. Paul Ludwig, happy Taco Tuesday from the Windy City. Yeah, this weather has been just absolutely crazy here, and I don't live that far away from Chicago, like only like a 2-hour drive. So a lot of the similar weather patterns and everything, and it's just like running outside recently has just been like so brutal with the wind and everything. It's just been crazy. Like winter is definitely here. We are. Well, not officially. I was informed today that winter's not officially here. But I said go outside and feel what it feels like. Winter's here. Drew H, I signed up for Hallucination 100. That's my first 100 ever. Awesome. What did I do? Question. Did you find yourself running through the night alone, or did you see other runners in between aid stations? That's a good question. So Hallucination 100 is a really awesome first 100-mile race, and it's because it's set up on a looped course, and the loops, well, actually they just changed the course this past year, so I believe they've upped them to 20-mile loops, but you get a lot better, like you just see people a lot more often, because people are passing and going in and out of aid stations, and the aid stations you hit up a lot more frequently as well. So that being said, it's a really, really good first 100-miler to do. So that's awesome. And also they have like the concert that's going on, like the whole time, every time you come back to your aid station / whatever tent setup you have. If you want to do that, it's just a really, really good first 100 to do. So nice pick. And yeah, through the night, Hallucination is a little bit better than some other races as far as like if you're wanting to run with people, because of the looped course, and the loops are shorter, like 20 miles. So it's a lot easier to just like see people and like stick around with people, much more so than like a point to point or a single loop race, something like that. So what's up? Paul Reynolds is here. Happy Tuesday from New York. Eduardo Sanchez is here. Happy Tuesday from San Diego. Steve McNeil says Texas racing season is just starting. That's That's funny. John Truelove's here. What's up? Oh, Emily also. Emily and John from the Hote. Nice. How's it going? CK Hiker, hello from Oregon City, Oregon. I'm just waiting for 2022 to get here. Have some big adventures to look forward to. Trying to chill until then. Trying. Yes. I'm really looking forward to 2022 as well. Like, I don't know if you guys saw this weekend, I was on Ultra Dad's channel. We did a live stream like during the entire Western States lottery, which was really fun, actually. I had thought about doing it on my channel. Like I'd mentioned it a couple times that I might live stream during the lottery. And then when it came down to it, I was just like, actually, I was going to like go for a run that morning, and then Dan like texted me and was like, "Hey, here's the link. Jump on if you want to, like for any amount of time." And so like maybe like 15 or 20 minutes into his live stream, like I jumped on, and I was only going to stay for like a half hour or something, but we ended up staying till the end of the lottery, and it was really fun. So yeah, you guys can go check that out if you want. But yeah, as far as news updates and stuff, did not get picked for Western States or Hard Rock, which I'm actually like, there's a healthy sense of relief in that, honestly, because of just how much, as soon as, like, if you get picked for Western States, like, you have to hit the gas as far as like planning and just getting everything in order. Like, you really have to. Like you have to get on it like that first week, those first couple of days, because as far as like accommodations and all of that goes, like it's like stuff gets picked over fast. So getting flights, getting whether you're going to stay in a hotel or Airbnb, then finding people to come with you to pace and crew them. So that was something that I was like, obviously, yes, you'd be super excited to be doing it if you got picked, but at the same time, it's like I was kind of like, oh, like well, at least I can have a really like a semi-relaxing week now. Same thing with Hard Rock, like it's, yeah, all the planning and everything, but I'm also like totally okay with it because I'm at a place in my running right now where I've done a handful of hundreds, and so I understand what they're like, and I also understand what it takes to put in, like the amount of work that you have to put in to be ready. Because I feel like I put in like a really solid amount of work to get ready for Indiana Trail 100, and it didn't go the way I wanted it to, but I had a really good buildup, and I came into it healthy, and I was in a really good place, really fit. But that was 3 months of like really like hard training. And then the month before, so basically 4 total months of like pretty tough training. And I was just kind of like, like getting into that, like now, like it's nice to take a couple more weeks. But for anybody that did get in, super excited for you. Congratulations. One of these years I will, but I'm not. So the other thing I was going to say is that I was really like when I started doing these ultras and hundreds, I was like really, really wanting to get in to like Western States or Hard Rock. And then you get a little sad when it didn't happen. Now I'm just kind of like, yes, I still really want to get in, but I'm also like, okay with, like I have a bigger picture, I think. Especially being able to go out to Western States a couple times has been like really eye-opening as far as just like all of the inner workings of it and how the race plays out and all of that. And so being able to see all of that, I just have like this like a healthier understanding of it, and I'm just like okay with going whenever my name gets called, I guess. I guess that's what I'm trying to say here. So I was at peace with myself and with everything afterwards. Like obviously you like get up a little bit, you're like, oh, maybe I'll get picked this year, but didn't. So now I have to actually figure out what I'm going to do. And we're going to go to the buckle cam real quick because I'm wondering if I don't know if this is like sort of like freezing or getting choppy for you guys, but I'm going to try switching the cameras real quick. So there's a buckle cam, and then let's go back to this. I don't know. I feel like I'm still a little bit choppy, but maybe my internet's a little slow right now. Sorry, everyone. If you're listening to the podcast, you have no idea what we're talking about right now, which is probably great. So let's see here. Michael Powell, what's up? So I signed up for Grind on the Grid Backyard Ultra. That's awesome. Super pumped. Any advice on what type of training to do for the race? Oh, good question. So backyard races are really interesting because it's a totally like, what I would do is I would first pick a goal, and then I would base all of your training off that goal. So if, thanks, Nicholas, says slightly choppy, but nothing too bad though. Okay. So we'll just roll with it. Yeah, I would pick a goal. So like if you're going into it and your goal is like, I want to do 50 miles or I want to do a 50K distance, then you know what you need to train for. But if you're going into it and you're saying like, I'm going to try and go as long as I can, that's a lot different way to approach a race like that. And I've never done a backyard like that. But I have done one. So I have some experience with the format, and it's much more of it's more of a patience game. And that's what I would like boil it down to, is that it's like your first couple laps, I would say even your first like 10 to 12 laps, like that's like up to your first 50 miles. Like it's patience, and it's going at whatever pace is right for you to not wear yourself out too fast, and then have the right amount of time to rest at the end of that hour, because you've got your 4.1-ish mile loops, and then you're on every hour. So if you run, and this one's going to be interesting too, because a lot of it's going to be on a road. So you're going to be able to burn through those 4 miles. I mean, you could finish the first couple laps like 30 minutes and then have 30 minutes to sit. But is that good? Like in the long run, I don't think so. Like, I think you're going to want to pace yourself, and probably a lot of people are going to be doing a lot of walking during those first couple laps, the first 20, 30 miles, because just the way this one's set up, you're not going to have to hurry through sections. Like there's not any technical sections or anything like that. So it's going to be really interesting to see how people approach this one. And we'll see how it goes. But yeah, my thing would be to practice the race dynamics. So get out there. If you're really serious about it, I would maybe a couple Saturdays in between now and then, just go out for however much time you have, 5, 6, 7 hours, and try to just do the format and see what works. Like maybe you'll find that resting for 15 minutes is too long, but maybe like 5 minutes is not long enough. So maybe you're going to shoot for finishing the laps, in 48 minutes or so. And then you can refill your bottles and stuff, sit for 5 minutes, get back up, do a little shakeout, and then get going. So that's what I would say, is practice the format, because it's going to be a shock every time you start a lap, especially once you start getting deep into it. Like if your goal is to go 100 miles or something, it's going to get crazy. Oh, Brian says hallucination is still 6 loops, 16. Okay. I didn't know that. I thought they changed the loop a little bit. That's good to know. I know maybe they just changed the start finish area. What was it there was another local race that just changed the distance then. Maybe I'm getting 2 races confused. Bradley McMurray's here. Happy Tuesday from Rancho Cucamonga. Nice. Aaron Townsend's here. Victoria, Texas checking in. Fatal Onion. is here. First time tuning into the live stream. Has Ryan been putting his Soleil F63 to use recently? Picked one up last week because of you. Yes, that's awesome. I've been on it quite a bit recently because of this weather that we've been having. Today, woke up this morning, it was 16 degrees Fahrenheit and windy all day. So I was on the treadmill today. I was actually watching the new video on YouTube with Dylan Bowman. What's it called? About his Grand Raid. Man, I'm just blanking on the name right now. I don't know. Someone in the chat will figure it out, but it's in my YouTube watch history probably. But I was just watching it on TV and watched most of it during my run today. Really nice video. It's cool. But yeah, Soleil F63 it's a deal. I mean, it's not that expensive. And if you have an iPhone or something, you can download the RunCline app and it connects Bluetooth. It's nice. So good luck with that. Miguel says, any new interesting trends in running data? I just started using Training Peaks and loving the premium features. Nice. I don't think I've heard of any new interesting trends in running data. I would just, if you just started using Training Peaks, I would just let your data build up over time and then start building your dashboard with whatever types of charts you want. And there's tons of resources online. Like just look up like cool running charts that you can build for Training Peaks because there's so much flexibility with it, so much awesome data that you can pull from it. So that's really cool. Mango Runners here. What's up? Checking in from South Carolina. Seatown fans here. King Life Tale says, what's got you wearing the 245? Nice. Saw that on Strava today, huh? Yeah, I have the Garmin 55 on my wrist right now and the 245. I picked both of them up on Black Friday deals and going to be comparing and contrasting and hopefully, if I like them enough to keep using them, put out some videos with my thoughts. Yeah, because they're good deals. And honestly, like I'm pretty surprised by, like I didn't expect to like either of them as much as I do. I'll just say that. The form factor is great and battery life has been much better than I expected over the last couple weeks. So I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time with the 55 and the 245. Seatown fan says, do you like toe socks? Yes and no. I have a cyclical relationship with toe socks. I love them and then I hate them, and then I love them and then I hate them. And I don't. I used to wear Injinji toe socks, and I don't wear those anymore because they ended up starting to cause me blisters. I think they're great right out of the packaging, like the first couple times you wear them, and then once you start to break them in, I just felt like they didn't work as well. But Exoskin toe socks are amazing. They're really good. So those are the kind of toe socks I use now when I like them. They're really great on like when your feet are going to stay wet for a long time, like either super hot days where there's a lot of humidity, like in the Midwest or something, or when you're going to be running through a lot of water, like maybe it's really rainy, something like that. They'll really help protect your toes from getting blisters. But I also go through these cycles where I'm just like, I can't wear them. And I really like just the simplicity of just like, especially during a race, like when you're wanting to change your socks quickly, the toe socks can be kind of a nightmare. Like they can take several minutes to get on, and it's just crazy. So I have gone back and forth, and sometimes I'll use them a lot. Sometimes I will go weeks or months without using toe socks at all. In the Indiana Trail 100, my most recent race, I did not wear toe socks. I just wore, I think I picked up some Darn Tough is what the brand was called. They have some pretty nice running socks, just real thin, Just, regular running socks. I do like the ones that are kind of like half crew. So they come up like 5-6 inches off your ankle. I think that feels really good for me when I'm trail running. Reese Runs, what's up, man? Says, any good races coming up in Indiana? I think I'm racing a Christmas morning trail run. Whoa, that's cool. I don't know of any races on Christmas morning. But if you go by yourself, I guess that's awesome. Yeah, there is a good race coming up in Indiana. I think it's like December 17th or 18th or something. It's the Saturday before Christmas. It's called the Huff 50K, and it's at the Chain of Lakes State Park, same place that the Indiana Trail 100's at. So that's a good one if you want to check out race in Indiana. I don't think I'll be there because that's in like a week and a half, and I'm not ready to run a 50K right now. I probably could go like suffer through it, but I don't know if it's like amazing weather, like maybe I'll just tempt me to drive up there and just like sign up the night before or something. We'll see. King Lifetail says, random question, but have you been keeping up with the Chess World Championship? No, I haven't. That's cool though. I didn't even know what was going on. Justin Turbo says, good evening everyone from Tulsa, late to the show, hope everyone is well. What's up, man? And then Justin says Debo Newfie is his new company name is called Free Trail. I did listen to his podcast where he explained that. And then Paul Reynolds says Begin Again is the name of the Debo Grand Raid Trail doc. Yes, so that's Begin Again. That's a good one. And it's really cool. Like it's really, really cool that like there's just a lot of good trail running content coming out nowadays. It used to be, that there was very few, people that were like doing it on a high level. And now, like, I feel like everywhere you turn, like there's some like really solid, trail running documentary type stuff coming out, and it's really cool. I think it's awesome for the sport. I think it's exciting to watch and it gets you pumped up. But yeah, that documentary was definitely getting me pumped up today on the treadmill. What's up, Chris Rhodes, San Antonio, checking in. Brian Steinberg runs 2 minutes. Wildest wildfire you've seen while running? We saw alligators next to the course in Brazos in Texas last weekend. Oh, that's an interesting question. So there was a wildfire going during Run Rabbit Run, and it was only a few miles away. It was going in a direction that it wasn't going to affect the race. Because of the winds, like they knew that the race was going to be safe, but where my family's like condo hotel was, from the balcony, like you could see over like a ridge. It wasn't even a mountain. Like it was like not very far away, but it's like right on the other side. And everyone was just like, they were just like chilling. Like it was crazy. Like I'm from the Midwest. Like we don't have forest fires here. It was just like, it was a very, very interesting situation. And yeah, but so the day before it started, it had been going for a couple of weeks. Like, so that's why people weren't worried about it, because it wasn't spreading towards any type of, civilization or anything like that. I don't know how you say that, but it wasn't spreading towards any residential areas or anything like that. And it wasn't going to affect the race, but it was only a few miles away. And so during the race, like there was a couple points where you'd come up onto a ridge or something and you could look out and you could just see like the smoke just like billowing and blowing in the other direction. But it was also, now that I'm saying all of this, I'm remembering some interesting things. Like it definitely did affect the race a little bit, because you could smell it a lot. And during certain parts, it was like almost, it was like almost unbearable, like in certain sections of the race where towards the beginning, it was only towards the beginning. And then at the end when you came back. But yeah, wow, that's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up. I had forgotten all about that. Michael Powell says, any recommendations for a battery pack to recharge equipment in races? Yeah, I always get the Anchor battery packs. Like, I just think that's a good brand. They're cheap and reliable. And I have this little tiny one that is the size of like, I don't know. It's probably like 4 inches long and maybe like 1 inch, and it's a cylinder. And I throw it in my pack, and I can charge anything during the race, or I'll throw it in a drop bag. And it's not like the fastest charging thing, but if like back in the days where my watch wouldn't last as long as the race, I would just plug it in while I'm running at night, wrap the cord around my arm, stick the charger like in the side of my pack, and I would just go, and 2 hours later or something, my watch would be fully charged again, and the activity would still be running. So, yeah, I think Anchor is a good brand. I've got a bunch of them actually, that I do use, because we went, like, when we go camping and stuff, like, I'll bring them too. So yeah, those are good. I don't know. I don't usually charge, like for GoPro, I just have enough batteries that I can put a battery in every drop bag or something like that. And same thing with headlamps. Like, I have a backup headlamp battery. And so that'll usually, like, 2 batteries is safe for me for the night. And then I have a backup headlamp too, usually, that I have in my pack. So yeah, I don't usually charge stuff during races anymore, but when I did, it was just like a little tiny USB charger. Lewis Hayden says, Brian, mine was a bear we saw less than 25 yards in front of us on our shakeout run when you ran Western States. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I've never seen like a bear or mountain lion or anything like that, but I was running Run Rabbit Run also. And me and my friend now, I didn't know him before the race, but Wayne Chan, we ran like 50 miles together almost. And as we were coming into about the halfway point of the race, we were still together, and it was night. We were running down this like forest road, and knew that we were still about 2 miles maybe away from town where the halfway point was. But we heard some, like, a scream, like, in the woods, like, not very far off to our left. Like, it sounded like it was really close, and it sounded like a human screaming. And it was just kind of a couple quick, short bursts. And then it was quiet for a couple minutes, and we were like, what was that? Like, is there somebody camping over there? Like, should we be concerned? Like, should we, like, neither of us had our cell phones. So we were like, maybe we should, once we get to town, we should tell someone about it. And then, like a couple minutes later, we heard it again in a similar spot. So now we knew that it was, like, we still thought it was a human, but we thought that there was maybe a trail over there and that they were following us, but there were no lights or anything like that. And we got back to town a little freaked out, because we were like, this is really weird. Like, both of us heard it both times. It was spooky. Didn't know what it was. And we were talking to someone at the aid station, one of the aid station workers. And he was like a local, and we were like, is there any trails up there, any camping or anything? Because we heard some woman screaming up there. And he was like, tell us what it sounded like. And then a couple other aid station volunteers came over, and we were like demonstrating what it sounded like. And he was like, that was a mountain lion. He's like, you guys are very lucky that you made it back to town. And we were like, oh, okay. also realizing in that moment that we had to go back up that fire road to get back on the trail. So that was a pretty scary, it wasn't that freaky in the moment because we just thought it was a person. But afterwards, when we had realized what it was, that was freaky. Didn't ever see it. Didn't ever see what it was. Yeah, let's see. Stephen McNeil says mountain lion in North San Antonio. Whoa. 5-minute standoff. Oh my gosh. That would be the spookiest, scariest thing I think you could encounter on a trail. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure a bear would be scary too, but man, a mountain lion, whew, like to have a standoff. Wow. Mango Runner says, love darn tough socks. Awesome. Lifetime warranty. I used the warranty service twice already. Whoa. Yeah. I haven't had to. Like they've been really great. They've held up really nicely. Yeah. Wildfire. Oh, maybe you were asking about wildlife. Oh yeah, I did totally read it wrong. Oh, sorry, Brian. Yeah. Well, anyway, you guys got a good story about a wildfire. Let's see. Aaron Wagner says, hello, are you enjoying the Midwest temp swings lately? Shorts and t-shirts, then 3 layers of mittens for my last 2 runs. Yeah, it's crazy. Like I don't know. I mean, the Midwest is like such a hard place to live for me. Like just it's like the weather swings, the temperature changes, the cold wind in the winter. It's just, I don't know. Like I'm so thankful that I was able to finally invest in getting a treadmill last year. So that's been helping out with running a lot. And it's just been helping out with like my mood in general, because when I'm not running, my mood is not great. And I think it has a lot to do with just everything involved with running. I think there's some real physical and mental stuff that happens when you run, and it's good for you. When I'm not running, I get the negative effects of it. So yeah, the winters have always been really hard living in Indiana, but we have family here, so that's why we don't move, and kids in school and stuff. So, but yeah, if I was, I don't know, like it would be different. Like I think I could accept winter a little bit more if there were mountains around that I could just go and run trails, and I don't know. Maybe I'd still not like it, but yeah. It's tough. It's very tough in the winter. Oh man, Brian says he had a moose detour in Anchorage. Whoa. That'd be cool to see though. I've never seen a moose in real life. Lewis said, exactly what I was thinking as you were describing this. You have to go back that way. Yeah. Yeah, we were definitely shouting and yelling the whole way back up that forest road. And then throughout the rest of the night, like I just had it in the back of my mind, like, oh man, like if this thing was stalking us or anything like that, like, ugh, that was scary. King Life Tale says, I've been on the hunt recently for some good running earphones. Bought the Vista 2s and couldn't stand the thumping. Yes. And heartbeat, occlusion effects. Got any suggestions? Ear hooks. Yeah. So if that really does bug you, then you're going to want to probably find, something that isn't held in by the pressure, like where it's pinning in your ear. That is something that really bugged me with the Vistas, and I have found that other headphones don't do it as much. Like I've been running recently in the AirPods Pro, and they've been really good. I also just picked up the Beats Studio Buds. Those are good. And then I have some cheaper headphones made by Tribit. I think that's how you say it. They sent me a pair out. And so I would say, yeah, the Vistas and the Vista 2s, for some reason, they just really, like I felt the thumping, or I heard the thumping and could like every footstep, I heard it a lot more. And I think it just has to do with the shape or the design build of them. But I tried the AirPods Pro, and those are working out really well. And also what I like about those is that you can put them in transparency mode, so you can hear what's around you, and you almost forget that you have the headphones in your ears because it's also like in stereo. So like if a car is going by on your left side, you hear it on your left side. If someone's coming up behind you, like you hear them. If there's a cyclist coming up behind you or something, like you can hear it. So those have been really great, and I've been really liking them. The only thing that like kind of sucks about the transparency mode though is if the wind catches it just right, it like sounds like really heavy static. But other than that, they're awesome, and they stay in my ears, and they don't make that thumping sound. So yeah, I do know like some people that wear the headphones that don't actually make any sound. They just use vibrations. And that way your ear is open still, and like you can still hear everything around you. I've never tried those personally. I don't want to try them just because like I don't know, like they sound too weird to me. But maybe I should try them. I don't know. Yeah, in the UK, you just have to watch out for squirrels. Yeah, we have a lot of squirrels here too. Justin says, when you're doing your GoPro filming during your race, how often do you film, or set time, or just by feel? Yeah, that's a good question. So at the beginning, like years ago when I started doing all of this, I filmed way too much. And I still probably do film too much because I don't use everything. I'll just get it. Like I kind of know, like I have a good feeling of like the tempo and like how I want to shoot things. And I've developed a process or a style or something. And so like, I know like when I pull my GoPro out, like I'll have it, I can just feel it. Like when it's been sitting in a place for long enough, and I'll flip it around, and you just feel it. But I try not to record the files too long, because when I do that, there's just a lot of stuff that I end up not using, and it's just kind of like wasted hard drive space or wasted time when you're editing. So I usually try to use that. On the top, there's the red button, like the quick record. I try to use that a lot and power it on, record for 10, 15 seconds, power it back off, and just try to be selective in what I record instead of just kind of like shooting everything. They call it spray and pray, like just shoot everything and hope something looks good. I try not to do that. Like I try to be more selective. So that's what I would recommend, is just start off. Well, I mean, but you kind of have to just like start off filming everything, and then once you start to edit things, you'll know what works and what doesn't. But it's the same. Like I'm the same way. Like I film way too much. Like when I'm filming B-roll for shoes or something, or a watch or something, like it's like there'll be 20 minutes of what gets recorded and only like 2 minutes of it shows up in the video. So there's like I'm definitely not like maximizing my my hard drive space or anything like that. I'm definitely still wasting a lot, but yeah. I would say when you start off, just like film as much as you can and whatever you can, and then when you start editing, and once you get a couple videos edited, like you'll figure out like you'll learn a lot during those first couple, and that'll help you moving forward. Aaron says, I'm a native to Cincy area, but got to live in Arizona for 7 glorious years. Found out I'm only depressed seasonally when I could see the sun all year in Arizona. Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely have I definitely have the seasonal depression, and it's tough. Like it's like it gets me because I'm just like I really want to be outside running mainly, but I want to be able to go walk around or like go do something. Like I want to be able to go drive somewhere without like just freezing the whole time. I don't know. I think I would really like living in a place that it was hot all year, like Arizona or something like that. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Oh yeah, Seatown fan. Aftershocks. That's what they're called. Those are the headphones that sit in front of your ears, and they just, I don't know exactly how they work, but they're supposed to be just vibrations into your skull, and then your eardrums pick up those vibrations and interpret them as sound. So I've heard they actually don't sound very good, but they work well enough that you can listen to stuff while you run. I've never tried them though. Aaron says, did you get to see the Korros Hub thing? I tried to get into the public beta. Yes, I'm in it. I got into like the reviewer group like a couple days ago. It was really fast. Like people like DC Rainmaker and Dave and Dez and all them, like they got, I don't know if they've had it longer than me, but if they did all their videos like in 2 or 3 days, like that's pretty good. Like getting in there and getting all the details and everything. Like I've just barely kind of gotten into it and scratched the surface. It looks pretty good. Like it's definitely a major step in the right direction. So what we're talking about is Korros has always been just iPhone or just a cell phone and your watch. Like they never had a website that you could log into and look at your data or anything like that. It was all managed through the app, and it was stored somewhere in the cloud, like all of your fit files and everything. But it was just a really like kind of clunky process. Like if you ever wanted to export anything, you had to do it from your phone. Like if you ever wanted to analyze anything, you had to do it from your phone. So now they have a website where everything is viewable and you can access your files and everything. And it's really great. Like it's kind of on par with what Garmin and Polar are doing. And I'm really impressed by it. I don't know if I'm going to make a dedicated video or if I'll just kind of like talk about it in some of my vlogs or something, but I'm really impressed by it. And like huge kudos to Korros. Like over the last year or so, they've corrected a few of the things that, and they've improved a few of the things that I've really kind of like said need to happen. One of the biggest things was this web interface, and Sunto too. Like they need to get on the ball. Like these companies were like years behind not having a web interface, but now Korros does, and it's really good. So, not everything really works yet in the beta. If you're a beta tester, there's a few things that are still kind of messed up, but it's nice. And I mean, it's solid. Like it seems like it's got a lot of room to grow. It looks exactly like the app. So like when you open up the app and you see all your graphs, like it's like the same like color scheme and everything. So it's really familiar. Everything's kind of in similar places. It's just nice. Like, yeah. But yeah, you'll be able to get it. Like everybody will have access on New Year's Eve. December 31st is when it opens to the public. So even if you don't get into that beta group, don't worry, Aaron, you'll have it pretty soon here. Stéphane Gerard just registered for Cruel Jewel 2022. Nice. Are climbs steep or smooth? There are some very steep climbs, like very steep, very long climbs, that, if like had it been raining or something, would have been miserable, because you've been sliding back down all over the place. It isn't as rocky as something over the course of the whole trail. It isn't as rocky as like Grindstone or something like that. So there's a lot of smooth trail, but there are plenty of rocks everywhere. Like it's the hardest race I've ever done by far. It's a beast of a race. I would just say, like, I don't know, like, how experienced you are, or what types of races you've done in the past, but do a lot of vertical training, because there's nothing flat. Nothing is flat in the whole race. Sometimes when you're running in and out of an aid station, it's flat, but a lot of them you're coming like straight down into the aid station and then you like bang into it. And there's the table, and then you go back up. So it's, yeah, I'll take that back. There is a couple miles of roads that really surprised me, because I actually didn't know that there was going to be a couple miles of road, and you're kind of on a highway. For me, it was okay, because the first time I was on it, it was in the middle of the night. And then the second time it was like during the afternoon. So it got really hot, and there was kind of a lot of cars, but it wasn't too bad, because I was at like mile 70 and I didn't care about anything anymore. I was like, I don't care if a car hits me. Like, I'm glad I had a pacer at that point. But yeah, it's a tough race. Steep climbs. Not all of them though. Some of them are really runnable. Like the first, I would say like the first couple miles, you're kind of like, wow, this is fun. Like you're like, this is cool. Like if you train for your climbs, then they're not going to be as bad during those first couple miles. But then coming back, there's one, so like towards the beginning of the race, and then again at the end, there's kind of the longest climb is somewhere around like 3,000 feet or something. And it's decently steep. Like it's not too bad, but when you're going out, you're only at mile like 9 or 10. And so you're like totally fresh. Like it's just fun. Like you climb for a couple hours, but it's all good. On your way back, it is like the never ending descent. I'm not kidding. Like you're just going down, down, down. And you have like, it seriously messed up my mind how long that descent was at mile like 99. It was out of nowhere. Like you're just like down, and then it's for like an hour. You're going down, and it beats you up bad at the end of the race. But congratulations that you got in. And I can't wait to hear about all your training. Keep coming back to these live streams and let us know. That's awesome. Philip Murray says, do you use a super view lens with your GoPro footage all the time? So I don't use, I believe you're talking about the like setting in the software to go to super view. I don't ever use that. I use wide. But a lot of times what I use is the max mod lens that so you take off the original lens and you put on the max mod lens, because I can tell a difference and it's a better image quality. And it also enables a little bit better stabilization at a wider angle. So there's a few benefits to it, although it like almost like doubles the thickness of the GoPro, which is awful that it has to be so big, but it looks better to me. And I feel like I get a little bit better control over the stability. So I like that. But I just keep in the software, I just keep it in wide lens all the time. I used to use linear a lot. But I've kind of like started to not like that look anymore. And I can tell, like, I mean, when people use GoPros, like there's like, you're not going to fake anyone into thinking you're using a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, and linear, just like it's too punched in on a GoPro. I don't know. I don't like the look of it. And you're not faking anyone. So just put it in wide, the stability's better anyway, and you can see more of the trail. So anyway, that's what I would recommend. Just put it in wide, leave it there, put the stabilization on. I think it's like the second to last setting, because if you put the stabilization on like max, it crops in a lot. So you're almost in linear mode anyway at that point. So Just pay attention to the settings. Don't let it crop in too much. Do a little test, like put it on a desk, like look at your wall or something. Like if you got some stuff like a shelf or something, switch the modes around and you'll see it like crop in and out, and you'll be able to see like what's going on. So do some tests, see what you like the best. Lewis says, earbuds are amazing in-ear phones. I have loved mine. They stay in place and you don't get the ear fatigue from having in-ear phones. Nice. Earbuds, I'll have to try those out. Justin says, oh wow, thank you so much for sharing. I kept running into the heat problem recording too long. Yeah. Okay, so with GoPros. Yep. The overheating issue does, it takes a lot out of them, but yeah, that's why like some of those tests that like DC Rainmaker does are kind of funny to me, because like, I never use a GoPro that way. Like the longest clips are like 2 or 3 minutes that I ever do. So when my GoPro does overheat, it's just because it's like so hot out there, that it's like, it's just so hot. It's not because I'm recording too long. So same thing with the cold test that he just did. I was really interested in that video because like I have a lot of problems with the regular battery, but I never let it just record for like 30 minutes, anything like that. Like it's hitting the quick capture, just letting it record for 15, 20 seconds, turning it off, doing it again, letting it record for a minute, turning it off. And I actually think that drains the battery a lot more, because I get way less. Like if I were to probably like actually do that test, I would have gotten like half the battery life in cold weather that he was getting in those videos. And you're actually like, the battery's not draining as much. It's just telling you that it's empty, because then I'll get back into the car, let it warm up for a while and turn the GoPro on and it'll say it's at like 62%. So it's just like the cold weather performance of those batteries is just really bad. So I haven't bought any of the Enduro batteries yet. I don't know if I will. I probably will eventually, but I have so many of the regular batteries that it's just like, I don't know. It's not a huge deal to me right now. So your active idea says, what camera do you use for 4K B-roll and low light footage? Interesting. So the best camera I have right now is what's right here. It's the Sony A7 III. So it's like a 5 or 6 year old camera. Like it's not anything super special. It's mainly a photo camera, but it can do video. But if you know what you're doing, and you have good lenses, you can make it look really good. Like I filmed the whole running the Triple Crown documentary series on the A7 III. The video I did with Camille Herron was all on the A7 III. Everything I've done in the past 4 years or so has been on the A7 III. And it's okay. I mean, it's fine. Like you can get decent results if you know what you're doing, and you shoot it in a way, like the different picture profiles you can get. Like you just want to customize them a little bit. I cycle back and forth between like the Cine 2 look and the S-Log 3. Like S-Log 3, if it's really bright outside, really sunny, or if you have good lighting, all the stuff like in the studio is done at S-Log 3. Because I think that translates well to in a well-lit scene. It's pretty easy to get your colors and your contrast and all that right. In low light though, like I will use, I'll change it up a little bit because S-Log 3 looks awful in low light. So I'll go to like the Cine 2 log look, and you can get a little bit better results in there. The A7 III is not good in low light. So the other side of that is that I just kind of accept that and go with it. and I understand like the limitations of my camera. And so if I am in a low light situation, like it's going to look like night. Like it's not like I'm not going to be able to make it look like it's daytime. But I'm okay with that. And if you just kind of like roll with that and accept it, you're good to go. Well, I would say get a decent camera and then get the best lenses you can get, because there's a massive difference. Like cheap lenses are fine when you're starting out because it gives you more options and you can learn more about different focal lengths. It can make certain things easier. Like if you get a zoom lens, it's like 24 to 105 or something. Like it can make things easier, but also like that 24 to 105 is probably not going to look anywhere near what like a good like 35 millimeter prime lens is going to look like, or something like that. So that's what I would say. I've invested a lot more in lenses than I ever have in camera bodies. So take that for what you will. That's where I would lean though. And then once you have a workable camera body and good lenses that you know how to use and you can get what you need out of them, then I would go back and get the upgraded, like if you're going to do like a cinema camera or something like that. Right. Let's see. Bunch of comments. I'm going to try and scroll through here real quick and see if there's anything. The questions I'm missing. Aaron Wagner said, I've never been in the Garmin ecosystem. Korros Pace 2 is my first run GPS watch. Really like being a Korros user. Yeah. The Korros ecosystem has not been up until like today, because today was when the announcement was. Their ecosystem wasn't as good as like Garmin or Polar. Those are the standouts. But now, I mean, they're kind of right in there now. So Brian says, I've got a long, stupid video almost ready to publish that I just babble on about how I've made videos. Nice. It will be my one video about how I make videos. That's awesome. I will watch that as soon as you publish that. Mango Runner says, if I don't get into Leadville, I'm thinking I might register for a Mohican 100. Have you ever considered Mohican 100 for 2022? Are you saying Mohican or Mogian? I think you're saying Mohican. Yes, I am considering the Mohican 100 for 2022. That's over in Ohio. It's a race that I made it to 82 miles before I fell and got hurt and had to stop. So I have a lot of unfinished business at that race. I'm considering that. I'm very strongly leaning towards going back to Indiana Trail 100 to finish the job I started there as well. Who knows? Maybe this will just be like 2022 will just be the redemption tour. Like go to all the races I've DNF'd. So we'll have to go to Kettle. We'll have to go to Mohican. We'll have to go to Indiana Trail 100. Knock all those out. Get those buckles. I'm definitely going to do a couple. I really, really loved how 2021 went with having a race in May and a race in October. Like that was just beautiful. Like I had the whole winter and spring to build up to the Cruel Jewel in May. And then I was able to take June kind of off, like the end of May and June. I was able to just really recover as well as I could and then go to Western States and pace. And that was amazing. And then July started my training for Indiana Trail 100 in October. I really loved how that went. And so I would love to find a race in like maybe last week of April or sometime in May that just fit really, really well with, it just worked out really well last year. So I would love if I could find something there. I wouldn't be opposed to picking a race or two in the summer, but I'm also hoping and planning at this point that I'll get out to Western States in one way or another, possibly Hard Rock, who knows. But yeah, I'm really like, I'm trying to figure out as far as do I want to do some like video working trips during the summer, or do I want to, like try to race in the summer? And I think I'm leaning more towards, like video, trying to work with some sponsors or something to figure out, like a documentary for Western States, possibly Hard Rock as well. But at the same time, I mean, there's already a lot of documentaries and everything about those races. So maybe not, maybe something else off the beaten path. And then definitely going back to Indiana Trail in the fall, hopefully. But Mohican, that's definitely in there. I think that's in July. I don't know if they moved it back to July or not. Yeah. Aaron says, I flipped out that they added GoPro control on a watch I bought a year ago. Yeah. Yeah, that is pretty cool. I've not used it yet. They have the Korros, they have now GoPro control, and they also have Insta360 control. But for me, I'm always holding the camera in my hand. So it doesn't really make sense to like press the button on the watch. But I could definitely see that being awesome if you had it mounted somewhere. Like if you had the pole like behind you for the 360 camera or something like that, that would be amazing. And then you could just hit record on your watch and it would start going. But I don't really know a situation where you would be running. I guess cycling would be cool because you could have the GoPro like mounted on the back or the front somewhere, and you can just hit the button on your watch. That's a cool implementation of that, I bet. And any other type of like, maybe like skiing, something like that, like if you had it on your helmet. So it could really work well. Oliver says, happy Wednesday from Korea. You're already into Wednesday. What? How do you plan your training at this point of your season when you're between races with no target race at the moment? Yeah, this is a very tough place to be. It's very easy to get lazy or complacent. So the past couple weeks, I've just been waiting for the lotteries for Hard Rock and Western States. And I've just been like, okay, if I get into one of those, like that's my year, like that's the plan. But if I don't get into either of those, then I need to pick a couple. And at this point, I'm at that spot where I'm like, okay, I didn't get in. That was like 3 days ago. I need to figure out what I'm doing. So I've reached out to a couple of contacts I have about, like I was talking about, like races this summer. See if I can get any work. And then we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, I just have a list of like a running list I keep over the years of all the races that interest me. And so, yeah, I just kind of go through all of that and see what I like. Philip Murray says, I've had issues with Quick Capture eating my SD cards with constant format errors. Oh, interesting. GoPro 10, hoping it's a firmware bug. I've never had that. I would assume that has to do with your SD card being something that the GoPro doesn't like, because I've never seen that happen with Quick Capture. Interesting. You could try to update the firmware, see if that fixes it. Motivation Theory Running, what's up? I'm thinking about putting in for Yeti 100. Yeah, that one looks really cool. That would be a really cool one. Ryan, Tiermate says, have you ever had any issues with Stride Pod when using it with different shoes? In my case, distance seems off a bit and sometimes is longer than usual. I've not had anything go wrong with distance on different shoes. I don't know how that would affect it, but I have heard people talking about stuff like that. The only thing that have had come up with every once in a while is the power seems slightly different, depending on where it is on the shoe, or possibly because I'm wearing a different shoe. But I think some of that has to do with the wind, because the wind is coming in on the bottom of the Stride Pod, which I always thought was a little bit weird. Like, why isn't it on the top? Because some of my shoes, when I get it in there, like the only place to put the Stride Pod, there's like there'll end up being laces like right in front of it. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not getting the full effect of this. So that's the only thing that I've had, that I've noticed, have be like different with different types of shoes. I've never had the distance be off though, that I know about. But I also don't run on a track very often, so I guess I can't completely confirm it. C-Town fan, thanks for this chat, Ryan. Thanks, C-Town fan. Aaron says, maybe for those tripod shots, if you run past, no need to capture the footage of you setting up and running back and forth. Yeah, that's true. Like you could set your watch up to do that. I would just be afraid that it wouldn't start though. Mango Runner says, oh, I think the Mohican date is June 4th and 5th. That's a good date. Because that's not going to be too crazy hot yet. That is interesting. Wow. I got to look up that, because all these races during the Midwest Super Slam have been changing their dates like crazy. I don't know why they're changing their dates so much, but like I know why 4 or 5 years ago, Indiana Trail 100 went from April to October, because April's a horrible time to have a race in Indiana. It's always going to be muddy and rainy. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting, because I thought Kettle was usually at the first weekend of June. So if those two are on the same weekend this year, or similar weekends. So Kettle is June 11th. And let's see about Mohican. Mohican 100 trail run is... Sometimes these websites are just so hard to find the information. June 4th and 5th. Okay. Yeah. So now Mohican is before Kettle. That is crazy. I don't know why they're changing their dates so much. But yeah, so the Midwest Super Slam now is going to be Mohican 100 first weekend of June, and then 1 week later Kettle. Hallucination or Burning River would be next, and that is always in July. July 30th. So gosh, yeah, you're gonna have Mohican 100 first weekend in June, 1 week later Kettle, and then like 6 weeks later you'll do Burning River, and then maybe another like 6 weeks later you'll do 4 weeks later, maybe, you'll do Hallucination. And then 2 or 3 weeks after that, you'll do Indiana Trail 100. That's crazy. You're getting right at the beginning of the Super Slam. You got 200s within a week of each other. That's awful. I don't know. That's kind of sad that the Super Slam has been changed up so much like that. Michael says, thanks for the great stream, Ryan. I just wanted to say thank you for all your videos and advice. Your nutrition videos really helped me have the race of my life at Jackson County 50 miler. Nice. That's awesome. How'd you do? That's awesome. My friend had a really good... Actually, I had a couple friends that did it. They all had a really good time. My friend that I talked about a couple times, where it was going to be his first 50 miler, he got third place. So that was awesome. Awesome to see that. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're at about an hour and 10 minutes now, a little over. So I'm going to start wrapping this up. If you have any last minute questions or comments or advice or anything like that, let me know, and we will wrap it up here. Brian Steinberg says, it was nice to see that you've had the same experience as I've had with the 360 video recording. A lot more work. Yeah. Crazy amount of extra work. I'm like okay with it to an extent. Like I will use it a lot probably, because I do really like the look of it. I think it's fun. At least now, eventually it's going to go out of style. I'll say this, like I think 360 cameras are cool, but I think the super zoomed out view it's going to eventually go so out of style that no one will ever use it. That's my opinion, at least with like running footage and stuff. I think they're still like new enough and not enough people have them. But once everyone has a 360 camera, I think you'll see a lot more people going back to just straight GoPro and stuff. So I'm going to still be using both. Yeah, GoPro is way easier to edit because you shoot what you want to shoot, and then the video file is done. Insta360, like you have to load your videos into the software, then you have to keyframe every angle, like everywhere it goes. And for me, like I haven't figured out why I haven't figured out how to get the back screen to be like the default angle right out of the gate. Everything I have recorded so far has been the front camera has been the default angle, and I want to switch them around, but who knows? I don't know if that's possible or not. Michael says, I ran 1056. Nice. And then I ran a few miles with Matt. That's awesome. That's super cool. 11th overall, 7th in my age group, or 2nd in my age group. Nice. That's really cool. That's an awesome race, and that's a really good time. Congrats, Michael. That's really cool. Aaron Wagner says, that's what makes the Super Slam so crazy to me. I've been talking on Strava a bit with a guy that took down True Love's record. His top 4 races from the Super Slam were faster than the Slam record. Whoa. So that happened this year. Okay. I hadn't heard since Indiana Trail 100 that it was taken down. Oh my gosh. John, if you're watching, like you got to go back and you got to take your record back. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Okay, yeah. So Jesus Hernandez says, you've talked about struggling with plantar fasciitis. Do you think you'll ever do a video about your mitigation methods and other recovery methods you use? Yes. And I want to do like a really, like a super well done video. Like I don't want to do just like a record it in one day and post it type of video. Like I want to like really take my time with it and get like all my thoughts out, because this is something that plantar fasciitis is something that I've been dealing with off and on for like 4 years, but it has affected me on a daily basis for probably like 3 years. And when I say daily basis, I mean like every time I stand up, I'm limping. And it's bad. Like I'm in a bad spot right now. And there's some times where I'm just like almost like, do I need to give up running? Like, is that what's going to be the answer? Because I am like so much pain on a daily basis and I don't know how to fix it. Like I've gone to several different foot doctors. I've gone to chiropractors. I've gone to several physical therapists. I've done everything available on the internet and from the doctors and from the physical therapists. I've done everything short of surgery. And I do not want to do surgery because I know what happens during surgery when you plantar fasciitis surgery. And I don't want that because that's a permanent fix to a hopefully temporary problem. And it could cause other problems later. And so it's just, I want to get my head around this. And I want to make a video that can help people too, because I don't have the answers yet. Like for me, it's just like everything I've tried doesn't work. So, I mean, thankfully it doesn't stop me from running, because after about a mile or so, the pain goes away. And that's like the only time. The rest of the 24 hours in a day, it hurts. Unless I have no weight on it. And even sometimes then it hurts. So yeah, Jesus, if you're struggling with plantar fasciitis, I'm with you, brother. Like it's bad. It's a painful thing. A lot of people get it and it's gone in a week or two, or they can do a few stretches and fixes it. It hasn't been my experience. I've had it in both feet at separate times, and yeah, it's crazy. What's up, Steven? Says totally agree. GoPro is so much easier and better quality footage too. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the 5.7K image is really misleading on the Insta360s. It's really like they're adding the two images together. So it's really like a what, 2.35K image. And then from that, you can only use about half of that. So you're kind of like best case scenario, it's a 1080 image. I mean, it's not 5.7K. And so if you want to do slow-mo, you're probably looking at 720. I mean, because you have to crop in. You have to crop in unless you want your picture to look like the big globe. So, yeah. It's a tough one because it's such a fun camera and you can do so many cool things and it's easy when you're running. That's the thing that I like about it, is that it's just easy. Like I don't have to think. I just hold it and whatever I want to do later is in the shot. But it's really tough working with it. Thiago says, hey Ryan, one question. Did you stop using Stride? No, I still use it quite a bit. I don't use it as much outside anymore. Because for me, I was getting good enough numbers in my training peaks from my pace. And I was getting good enough, TSS points from my pace that I wasn't as worried as much with the power. But every time I'm running on the treadmill, I use Stride. And then I do take it outside sometimes just to kind of continue, keep it calibrated. All right, guys. Let's see here. Truly the one thing that has ever helped with my plantar fasciitis was yoga, because mine was caused by a super tight posterior chain. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to work on too, because I think that's got to be what it is for me, is the chain just gets tight, and I just kind of like, the two times it's come on, I'm guessing that I just ignored it a little bit, and maybe I didn't, a couple runs in a row, I didn't do great warm-ups, or I wasn't like working on my stretching or foam rolling or anything. And maybe it's just a weak spot for me as well. Like that could be it. And maybe I just neglected it for a little bit, and then it happened, and now it won't go away. I was able to, like, it did end up going away with quite a bit of work, but I had it in my left foot for almost 2 years, and now I've had it in my right foot for almost a year. But in between, there was about a year where I didn't have anything, maybe 2 years, and it was great. It was awesome. Motivation Theory Running says, foam rolling. Yeah. Kneading my plantar tendon on the steps and strengthening my feet. Yeah. Yeah. And there's always the thing where it's like, you can always do more, right? You know? So yeah, I keep trying to attack it. At night, if I find myself watching TV or something, like I'll get the massage gun out and just like lightly do the bottom of my foot, do my calf, just try and keep it loose, do a lot of rolling, lots of stretching. Yeah. Philip Murray says posterior chain fix is the key. Also try physios and podiatrists, etc. Best advice from my massage therapist was to stop loading up the Achilles with calf and eccentric calf raises. Oh, stop doing that. Okay. Stop loading up the Achilles and calf with eccentric calf raises. Interesting. Interesting. Maybe I'll just stop. Maybe I'll stop doing that because I do a lot of that. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, that's where I'm going to end it tonight. Thank you so much for joining. This was a great one. We went really long. Like normally we stick to about an hour, but we're at an hour and 20 minutes right now. So thanks everyone for joining. Those of you that have listened to the podcast or have watched this on Twitch or Twitter, thank you so much. It's been great. Make sure you stop back by again next week for another fun and exciting Tuesday Night Live. So that's all I've got for you guys tonight. I'll see you around. Bye.